In the first 4 out of 5 Pro Light events this season, Doug Matag, CJ Greaves, and Jarrett Brooks have finished in the top 3 podium positions. Of those 5 events, Doug Matag has 2 feature wins, Jarrett Brooks has 2 feature wins, and CJ has 1 feature win. Why is that unique, you might ask? They're the 3 youngest drivers in the field. Doug is 20, CJ is 19, but the series point leader Jarrett Brooks is only 16 years old. So Ricky and Tess, I would say that in the Pro Light division, the youth movement is alive and well here this weekend.
Thanks, Tony. The young guns really having an awesome season. Let's head back to round 1 in Prim, Nevada. CJ Greaves in the lead there, but Jarrett Brooks having all kinds of trouble with the number 77.
But it was the number 33 of CJ Greaves bringing home the win in round number 1. He had that monster Toyota hooked up all the way to the finish line.
And there you see it, CJ Greaves celebrating the first win of our TORC season. But round 2, Jarrett Brooks, he held it all together. The truck stayed in one piece. He takes the win.
But once we went to Charlotte, a little bit of trouble between Morris and Kincaid. Morris going over and back on his wheels, keeps rolling, but it was Kincaid that ended up stopping. Doug Matag brought home the win.
Then round 4 again in Charlotte. Here we go. Kincaid again, this time ending up on the back of Matag's truck. And look at this, getting into it with Sleegers, going for a wild ride.
It was one wild ride for Keegan that ended his day, as we'll see later. He wasn't happy about that, but it was these two, Doug Matag and Brooks, that went back and forth for one heck of a main event.
So Jarrett Brooks putting in a great run. He is our current points leader in Pro Light. Jarrett Brooks celebrating the win in Charlotte. Pro Lights on the track, getting ready to go. There is Keegan Kincaid, who has had, well, let's just say, a very exciting season so far. And Kincaid hoping to do a lot better today in round 6. But let's check in with round number 5 yesterday here at Bark River.
Yesterday, a lot of action going on up front. We see here Doug Matag, also CJ Greaves and Keegan Kincaid getting into each other. Now, is this payback or was this just a racing incident? CJ gets into Keegan, Keegan goes around, and he does the right thing. He stops. But here, a little bit later, we see that CJ Greaves has to do a stop and go. So out in front, has to go through the pit for rough driving.
So black flag there for CJ, which cost him the race. But now the battle, Matag again and Keegan Kincaid.
Keegan Kincaid, watch, he bounces as it comes down, bam, it pops the bead on his tire, and you can see the tire flopping. He starts to fade to the back of the field. So it was all about Doug Matag out in front and running really, really strong.
So Matag takes the win in round 5 here in Bark River. Keegan Kincaid just unlucky yesterday. He was really putting in a good charge, hoping to do better here today.
Well, up front, we got Luke Johnson on the outside pole, and we also have Brad Level up front. So these guys, they did invert the top 6. So that was 5th and 6th in qualifying, puts them on the front row. Behind them, the 2 guys that were going tooth and nail yesterday.
So the blue truck there, that is Johnson on the inside as they roll around here, getting ready for this rolling start at Bark River International. And here we go. You can see the orange cones to the left. That demarks the start. And we are underway. Pro Light racing at TORC.
Luke Johnson getting a slight advantage over Doug Level. And here Doug Matag coming right in with him, and CJ Greaves on the outside. But Luke Johnson, over-rotating, going around. Tough break for Luke.
Oh, no. Johnson just laying it on a little too much there on that right-hander. But here we have, look at this charge coming through to the front. All of our front runners in the series points are up in this mix.
Yeah, we see the same guys that were battling hard yesterday. Brad Level, who is a defending champion, not last year, but the previous year, didn't have good luck yesterday. But rounding out the top 5, actually in 6th place, is Jesse Johnson. He's moved up quite a bit in those first 2 turns, but it's Brad Level out in front now.
Kincaid sitting in 3rd place. You saw him lean on CJ Greaves just a little bit earlier there, kind of pushed him out of the way. Level, though, is trying to hold off the charge of Doug Matag, and then Kincaid behind those 2.
The first couple of guys, as they're going around, watch, they're looking for dry spots because they groom the track and then they throw water down. So the guys will run a little bit wider lines because the outside cushion is not real heavy yet. And you also got to make sure that you don't do what happened to Luke Johnson, spin around on the inside.
Oh, so Matag cuts off Brad Level.
Actually helped Level out. Level got a little bit sideways. Doug came in and actually tipped his nose and saved him from spinning around.
Tony can add a little bit more on level. Tony.
Oh, well, his level just about over-rotated, got into another truck. What I was going to tell you guys is he was telling me yesterday morning that they've been fighting carburetor issues. They've been fighting electrical issues. So yesterday they struggled again. He was just hoping that he could get out on the racetrack and focus on driving instead of trying to figure out what all these mechanical issues are.
Speaking of mechanical issues, the 33, the black monster truck of CJ Greaves, looks like it's putting out an awful lot of, is that smoke?
Yeah, CJ Greaves spitting out a lot of smoke. That could be tranny, that could be oil. With this roost, the first couple laps, it does fill up the coolers quite a bit, but it doesn't seem to be slowing CJ down too much.
So Doug Mittag currently in the lead over Keegan Kincaid. We're looking back right now at this battle for 4th and 5th between Brad Lovell and CJ Greaves. Greaves in the black and green truck.
These two drivers yesterday were battling for the lead test, and right now Doug Mittag, yesterday's winner, but Keegan Kincaid was very, very fast. Unfortunately, we don't want to call it a sophomore jinx because he's been around for a while, but it is his first year of defending a championship.
2013 Pro Light Series champion Keegan Kincaid, the number 7. Oh, Mittag, a little bit of a mistake there.
In the same place, Tess, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but the same exact place that he passed Brad Lovell is what happened there. So right now, these guys going tooth and nail.
And amazing, through this season, we have seen Kincaid fighting with Doug Mittag, and we've seen all kinds of hijinks. He literally landed on the back of Mittag's truck back in Carolina, and here he's just trying to find a way around.
Yeah, it's a tough call because you see how heavy this roost is, and when the guys go out and they get into it. As I said before, the one thing that's worse is if you're following a hydroplane and you get that roost of water coming at you. This actually will slow you down. It hits your car, slows you down, but it's also doing damage because it's filling your radiators, even though they're in the back, full of sand. So you don't want to mess around like in other car racing where you can draft. You need to get in front, and these trucks love clean air.
So 1, 2, and 3, Mittag, Kincaid, and we haven't talked about him a lot yet, but Jarrett Brooks, the number 77, our current points leader in Pro Light, doing well. Keegan Kincaid, though, really, he's just so hungry for this result.
Yeah, Jarrett Brooks rounding out the top 3. Now remember, we have a competition yellow, which at first when I was a racer, I'll be honest with you, I hated it. I wanted to get out front, establish a big lead, and enjoy my race. But now, since Jim Baldwin started that, we race to the halfway point, and then we race to the finish line. So right now, Jarrett Brooks, very, very smart, staying out of the mix, letting those two guys do what they need to do up front, and watch for him at the end of the race.
Well, he's probably seen enough this season of those two trucks tangling, and if I would just sit there and wait until they do something wrong and just pop right on by.
Exactly, but they are both driving very, very fast. It's not like Brooks can catch them and drive around at any moment. These two guys are blistering fast right now. They're running 128s right back and forth, 128.9 and 128.8, so they are flying.
So in the league, Doug Mittag, second place, Keegan Kincaid, then Jarrett Brooks, the white truck right behind them. And again, Kincaid is just trying to find that way past. He really is nosing in on almost every lap, but Mittag holding his ground pretty well.
Yeah, I've known Dougie Mittag for quite a while. Watched him. He grew up racing razors and all different kinds of stuff. The kid is an animal behind the wheel. Here we're looking at Jarrett Brooks coming down off the off-camera, do the double jump, going into the what they call cemetery turn. These guys are going about 85 miles an hour through there. You think that's not fast because that's what your Prius will do?
But it's sideways.
But try it sideways with a bunch of other guys, a bunch of other egomaniacs next to you.
Here we go, Kincaid taking a look again, this time on the inside.
Right now, Keegan is the fastest on the track. He seems to be able to fall back and catch up to Doug, so he might loosen him up a little bit, rub him sideways, and then stick a nose in on the inside. So what I'm thinking Keegan's going to do is shoot to the outside and then come up the inside. But nope, made me a liar. Goes right around the outside of him. So Keegan is the truck on the move.
Looks almost like he's trying to square off those corners a little bit and get some traction on the exit.
Well, we've talked about it. This is a lot like a motocross track, and on a motocross bike, you can throw it sideways and square turns off, but with the weight and the lean of the vehicle, you just got to keep momentum. So now we have Keegan Kincaid with a power move around the outside, and now 2 lengths in front of Doug Mittag.
Now, we saw that Keegan Kincaid was fastest on the track when he was behind Mittag. Can he now put some distance between himself and the number 81 truck as the 77 of Jarrett Brooks is now working the back of Matag.
Exactly. We talked about him laying back. Well, he's tired of laying back. He sees that Keegan has gotten by, so Jarrett Brooks is going to work after his teammate. That is an awesome shot right there, and I got to tell you, Tess, it's one of the coolest feelings in motorsports to come flying over that right-hand turn. It's completely blind. You're sideways here. Power move by Jarrett Brooks, coming to the inside, showing a little respect as a teammate, not taking out his partner.
So there, Jarrett Brooks, the white number 77, was just a hair away from leaning on Doug Mittag to get by. But still, those two are not letting Kincaid get away by any means. 1, 2, and 3 are all within a second of each other.
Exactly. Well, and then that goes. A lot of times, a smart racer, when a guy gets by you, you watch and you do whatever he does, and that's what Doug Mittag is doing.
Oh, little punt there from Brooks on Mittag as he slowed down into that corner. So I think Jarrett Brooks may be getting a little bit impatient.
But right now, this Bark River track is really, really good. We're coming up with the competition yellow here shortly, but these three drivers it looks like a drift competition at high speed over big bumps and jumps.
So Keegan Kincaid, the number 7, still in the lead as they will come around to our competition caution at the end of this lap. And that will have them all then lined up nose to tail. And here we go, competition caution. Keegan Kincaid there putting in a great race up to the competition caution. And for more on Keegan, let's check in with Tony Bachhoven.
Well, guys, I think what's helped Keegan is he had to run a few laps behind Mittag and couldn't get by him. He had to search around on the racetrack. When he made the pass for the lead, he was 4 wheels over the cushion, so now he knows where his truck will work best. But where it didn't work best was in Charlotte. He had a lot of trouble there.
It's been a frustrating start to the year for me. Me and Morris got together. I kind of got into him. I was a little frustrated in the race. Got into him. We rolled. Both of us rolled over. He ended up rolling on his wheels, kept going. I ended up on my roof, and oil started pouring out. Sunday happened to get in with Doug Mittag. You know, we were racing. It was just a racing incident. We hit tire, so it was like an open wheel car. We went flying into the air. Car shut off. As soon as I landed, just the jar of the truck shut it off, and got it fired back up. Was running around back of the pack where, you know, everybody's kind of back and forth back there. You don't want. That's not a spot where you want to be.
So he was coming through the field. We went through the right-hander. I believe he passed me right there through the whoop section, and I was right on his bumper as we hit the jump.
Jeff Schleger's, I don't know what he was thinking, if he thought he could race with me or what, but ended up drilling me in the side, rolled me over 3 times, and that kind of ended our day right there.
I was running my line, ran the same line, went off the jump the same way that I had every single lap before that, and, you know, basically just got into him. Nothing I could do.
Really frustrating weekend for me. Something I got to put in the past and move forward and not think about those situations and go out here in Bark River and hopefully get a couple wins.
So at the competition caution, Keegan Kincaid leads them out over Doug Mittag and Jarrett Brooks. CJ Greaves, we thought maybe he had a little bit of trouble there, but he's hanging on to 4th place. And they are coming around to the green flag that will start these final 5 laps of racing in our Pro Light category.
Well, anybody that had problems at the beginning, we'll see what happens. You know, to round off the top 10, Sylvester was in 10th, Dismore in 9th, Morris in 8th, both Johnson, Jesse, and Luke in 6th and 7th, so let's go racing.
So here we go. They are past the cones, and Keegan Kincaid leads them out. Oh, Jarrett Brooks all over the back of Doug Mittag trying to get that 2nd place, and CJ Greaves now also taking a look.
CJ Greaves now climbing all over the back of Jarrett Brooks. That gives Keegan Kincaid just that little bit of breathing room, so now he can run as much of the track as he wants. He's not worried about someone torpedoing him in the corner.
Oh, Jarrett Brooks shorted that double right there and drove the front end in. Jumping a little bit short here.
Yeah, it's one of those things. As the track starts to go away, you have really hard pack and rock underneath, Tess, and the soft dirt on the top. See, now that Doug Mittag has to watch that because that will blow the tire out. These are DOT tires. In Pro 2-wheel drive and Pro 4-wheel drive, we have custom tires that can take this side load. We saw yesterday what happened to Keegan Kincaid. You side load these tires too hard, you're going to blow them apart.
So Keegan Kincaid now putting about 10 truck lengths on the rest of the field, and Well, the rest of the field are actually really charging behind him. CJ Greaves taking a look there, the number 77 to Jarrett Brooks for third. There goes Luke Johnson. He's coming through right now in 6th, right behind Brad Lovell.
Yeah, he passed Brad Lovell through the S's, and so now he's back behind CJ Greaves. So, as my son, yes, I am biased. He needs to go to work and watch those guys in front of him and try to reel them in, because the yellow is over. We're going all the way to checkered flag.
And that small mistake from his pole position there, you know, spinning on that first corner, he's managed to...
Small mistake? That's a huge mistake.
To retain his position there, and I know, I'm sure, like, Papa will have a few words with Luke after the race.
We'll talk about that after the race, but back to the leaders, and now we're watching CJ Greaves. We did see some smoke at the beginning, but he pulled it back together. Here we're watching Luke Johnson and Brad Lovell going back and forth. He cleans the double, very good. So right now, he just has to worry about Brad behind him and go after those guys in front of him.
Keegan Kincaid, the 2013 Pro Light champion, had a rough start to his season, but he's in the lead so far. You're watching, though, Luke Johnson and Brad Lovell, and Johnson actually now putting a little bit of distance between himself and Lovell, trying to chase down CJ Greaves.
This is one of the tracks that Luke has liked the most. He likes the speed. He did really well here last year in the buggy, and also this is the only place and his first win in a Pro Light 2 years ago, so he does dig this Bark River track.
Oh, Jarrett Johnson almost trying to block the inside there, going right up on the bank. CJ Greaves right behind
Brooks,
him.
And slight correction there. We got a couple too many Jarretts out here, but Jarrett Brooks is running hard. He's working all over the place, and CJ Greaves is now, do I go left or do I go right? But I have to try to stay out of the roost, because you can't see when you're back there getting all the dirt thrown in your face.
So there, Brooks just trying to find the inside on Doug Matag. But Keegan Kincaid is in the lead in our Pro Light here from Bark River, with a lot of hard charging trucks behind him. Can Kincaid hang on and finally win one? Find out when we come back. Welcome back to TORC, the Off-Road Championship presented by AMSOIL. This is the throwdown in the UP from Bark River, Michigan. You can see Keegan Kincaid just going out of the frame there. He is our leader, but what a race we have for second place.
A three-way dice. You got Doug Matag up on the cushion and Jarrett Brooks coming in. Not so polite this time, and here comes CJ Greaves down the inside. Who's going to get the run through the S-turns?
Oh, 3 wide as they come into the S's, and how did they make it through there?
Unbelievable. But I think
trouble for Jarrett Brooks.
I think we lost a tire on Jarrett Brooks. What I was saying earlier, you can't land these trucks completely sideways, and with CJ Greaves coming in on him, that knocked him sideways, and you can see that tire is smoking, and he blew out his right rear.
And there, really, Brooks was leaning heavily on Doug Matag, the number 81. You can see there with CJ Greaves, and Greaves just saw an opening and went for it.
Jarrett Brooks, here comes Brad Lovell going by when you got this, but he is close to the pit, but unfortunately, once again, we are past that yellow flag, so he's going to have to go to the back to get that tire fixed.
So that is very disappointing for Jarrett Brooks, and what that might mean is that at the end of this race, there could be a different leader in the Pro Light points.
Right now, Doug Matag still doing work, but you can see that Keegan Kincaid in that red number 7 truck. So if you're wondering why he has a red plate and everybody else runs yellow, that's because he's the defending champion, to give him a little bit of a different look. But Doug really landing sideways. I think he's going to be wear his tires out, to be honest with you.
I think he's feeling the pressure there from CJ Greaves behind him. And here we see Luke Johnson.
Yeah, something happened to Luke. He's in the back. Now he's getting lapped. So I don't know what happened. It looks like he's under power, but down quite a ways. He's all the way down in 18th. So Keegan Kincaid is now lapping up to 18th place.
So we'll try and find out later what happened to Luke. And actually, Luke Johnson and Jesse Johnson both dropped right down the standings.
Yeah, they could have been some contact back there, but who knows. But right now, Keegan Kincaid is running a flawless race. He's using the cushion where he needs to, running really solid across the blue groove. So he's doing an awesome job while these guys are taking care of each other.
CJ Greaves in the black truck, Doug Matag in the red and white truck. And they really are putting up quite a battle here for second place.
I like what CJ's doing. He's using the inside, the outside, trying to work around, but also I like what Doug is doing as well. He's just holding his line. He's not trying to block. He's just trying to drive as fast as he can, and that's what you want to see with these young racers, is guys that just try to go fast, and if somebody puts a wheel on you, that's part of the racing.
So Keegan Kincaid still in the lead. And there you see the white flag. There's 1 lap remaining in our Pro Light race. Luke Johnson, of course, give a little bit of space there to let the leaders come through. He's 1 lap down. Keegan Kincaid, could this be his day to finally get a win in our 2014 TORC Championship season?
Right now, if I had some money, I'd put it on Keegan Kincaid. He is running smooth, smart, and he's been here before. He's won the championship, so he knows what it takes.
He is almost 2.5 seconds ahead of that red and white truck of Doug Mittag, who is still holding off CJ Greaves, and I think Greaves is going to have to make a pretty desperate last-minute attempt to get past him.
Yeah, and CJ's known for it. CJ is an aggressive little racer, comes from a motocross background, so he's definitely going to give it a shot, and here
there
he
it
goes.
Is it going to hold? He leans on him. CJ Greaves makes the pass for second place.
Strong power move for CJ Greaves. He set that up well. Came up the far right side, shot to the inside. So really a spotter can't tell you what to do. Right now, Doug taking a look on the inside, but he would have had to completely bonsai and blow him out of the corner. So a lot of respect right there.
So Mittag doesn't manage to get past there. CJ Greaves holding second place. But it's all about Keegan Kincaid today, who will come across to take his first win in the 2014 TORC season. Finally, he manages to get through a race clean. Kincaid takes the win here in Bark River. So Keegan Kincaid finally gets one. Our 2013 champion now is on the race for the 2014 championship.